Not a lot of slam dunks, I don't think, because you could have a conversation around each position. But for your money, and you're going to be on this thing on Wednesday night, was there one or two positions that were easier than the others for you in your brain to say, yes, he was absolutely the best in the sport?
Well, no. I mean, you're talking about just one team. So let's take first base. You would think that'd be the easiest one, right? Because Freddie Freeman had an unbelievable season. But Abreu was really impressive.
Yeah.
So it was tough. The great thing about it, Matt, is you have all-pro football, you have all-pro in the NBA, you know, of all that, your first NBA team. This is the second year now that it's both American League, National League, and it's the best player in that position won. And that's what's so cool about this whole exercise. So I thought they were tough all the way across the board.
Yeah, I guess there really isn't one position that's easier than the others. But let's just go through, Mark, some of the catcher nominees, because this is interesting. We talk about JT Realmuto, of course, often because of the impact he makes on both sides of the scorecard. In terms of the catcher position, talk about who you think the leading candidates are for All-MLB.
Well, I had a vote for the All-MLB team, and I voted for Salvador Perez. I thought he had the best all-around season, top to bottom. And I think when you look at his season and Realmuto's season, d'Arnaud obviously had a great year as well for Atlanta. I think those three stand out above everybody else for certain. And one other thing about this team, remember, there was no All-Star team this year. So in a year where there was no All-Star recognition, this is the All-Star recognition for players to look at and say they were the best this year.
That's a good point.
I think that's interesting, Mark, that point, but the catcher, I picked Salvador Perez too in the final three vote. I don't have a vote, obviously, but you would think it was JT Realmuto because of the season he had. But you can seriously make a case for d'Arnaud.
Well, you know, fans were able to vote online for quite a long time, and then the finalists, the group of three, that was announced yesterday. So that's what we'll be dealing with on Wednesday when we figure out who wins at each spot.
Clearly, the deepest position, though, was shortstop in baseball. I think the tide has turned. It is so deep.
Who would you have voted for at shortstop?
I would have voted for Fernando Tatis. And a lot of people would say, yeah, but he had a great first half. He didn't finish up strong. Seager came on like gangbusters. But if you look at Trevor Story's year, I mean, incredible. But if you can name 5 or 6 guys across the board easy that nobody would complain about. So, I mean, I didn't mention Trey Turner. He's one of the final 3.
Yeah, Story wasn't even a finalist. That's how strong this position was. I think somewhere between Seager and Tatis is going to be your answer. We'll learn about that on Wednesday. I'd like to look at your ballot, Mark, across the board, if we may. Are you able to share that with us? Because we want to see who you voted for at each position.
Give it up, Mark.
Absolutely. So I voted for Salvador Perez at catcher, Freddie Freeman over Jose Abreu. So the way the vote is, you give it a first-team choice and a second-team choice. So Freeman, LeMahieu, Tatis, Machado, Betts, Soto, and Trout, Marcell Ozuna as the DH. And then, you know, I'd just like to go to war with that pitching staff right there with Bauer, Bieber, Darvish, DeGrom, and Lamet. And then two relievers who, I mean, Devin Williams, outstanding rookie season. Liam Hendricks putting together another superb year himself heading into free agency. So there were some tough decisions. There were some tough calls, 1 versus 2. I was happy I got to list 2. But, yeah, it's certainly a very intriguing ballot to fill out when you're looking at every position in the game with all players eligible.
You could have put my name at the top. And we have the exact same team.
You know where the only place I think I was different than Mark was I had Corbin Burns instead of Dinelson Lamet. But it was super close. I had the same 2 relievers, and for folks that did vote, you voted for 5 starters, 2 relievers, and then 1 for each position, including DH.
And the one thing I like here, Mark and Matt both, is that the outfield was by position, not just 3 outfielders thrown out there. But who's the best center fielder? Who's the best left fielder, and who's the best right fielder?
Yeah, right.
I love that.
Yeah.
Well, it worked out like that. But the ballot actually just says outfield, outfield, outfield.
Yeah.
You had Machado at third base.
So we could have voted for any outfield position we wanted.
I forget who I voted for at third base. It wasn't Machado. Well, let's look at the finalists at third base, because that's also a good discussion point. You know, the Padres could sweep that whole thing on the left side of the infield, but third base was also interesting. Do you remember who you voted for at third base?
Machado.
You did?
Yeah.
Why can't I remember who I voted for at third base? I don't think I voted for Jose Ramirez either. I'm having a senior moment at the age of 53.
It wasn't Chapman because he got hurt, so
I might
clearly didn't go there.
I might have though. That's
I voted Machado 1 and Ramirez 2.
Yeah, you got the in order of finish, and Justin Turner in the third spot there among the finalists.
It is cool though.
I have to pull up every
it's a cool
roster
exercise.
now. I know it's
that
fun. And again, 7 p.m. Eastern on Wednesday. Who's on the show with you?
I don't know.
You don't know who
I don't even know who you voted for at third base. How am I supposed to?
You don't know who you're working with on Wednesday?
No, I find that stuff out when I get to the building.
Yeah, that's about how it goes.